Welcome back to the College Cinephile. I'm Mark Gutierrez, and today I'm going to be covering J.J. Abrams' newest project, Overlord, directed by Julius Avery with a story by Billy Ray. Now, Overlord is a horror movie set in World War II era Europe on the eve of D-Day, and is about a group of American soldiers trying to infiltrate and take down a German radio tower to provide Allied forces air support as they invade Normandy. However, their plans change when it is revealed that the radio tower is also housing a German lab where they are experimenting on people to create the perfect Nazi soldiers. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, the plot is really cool because they introduce it as this really, okay, first of all, in the first 10 minutes, everything just like goes wrong. Like they're about to parachute in and their plane gets shot down immediately and only a few people make it out. And that kind of shows how this movie is pushing the intensity up to like 11 in the first couple minutes. And I feel like that's what these sort of movies should do. Like the ones that are trying to give this overall threat and like show that these main characters are not safe. Like within the first couple minutes, a lot of people do die, and this kind of like they come out of nowhere. And that's another thing. The deaths don't stop. Like every time you feel like they're going to get a one-up, they ended up just like get crushed down by this other element. And I feel like this kind of shows that overwhelming threat that overall World War II and this also supernatural element puts into it. And like I feel like these characters, this kind of pushes the growth towards them, and how all these overwhelming threats kind of push on them, they're able to push through and prevail. Now, the casting did really well because there is one no name in it that I remember, and I remember that he was in an episode of Black Mirror. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but I do like the acting in this, especially with the main character. He did a very well job of showing this kind of timid character that wasn't made for war. He was just kind of like brought into it. Like there's literally a line where he says, like 3 months ago I was mowing my dad's lawn, then I got a letter from the army, and now I'm here in Germany fighting. And I feel like this is where the outcast and the sort of non-warrior becomes like the warrior, and this is what the story is trying to push towards. But I feel like it happened on the fly. Like there's a scene where he's literally, they're talking about how he couldn't even kill a mouse, and like 10 minutes later he's going into like bashing in a guy's skull. Like it happens so fast, and I feel like they could have built it a bit better. Don't get me wrong, like you generally like feel that change, but I just feel like it was a bit off. Now the directing was actually very professional in this film. Like they really, there's one scene where the main character's in a lab and he's like running through like all these different like stuff, and there's actually a long tracking shot with like different B-roll in between showing the specific things that he picks up. But it's all one shot that he's going through, and that's when he escapes. And I feel like that adds this professionalism that comes with being like produced by a big name like J.J. Abrams. Overall, this movie just looks great in the way it's shot and the way the sound design is. Like the sound design itself makes the overall movie so terrifying. Like there's like such little things, like there's a scene where a person is transforming into one of the supernatural creatures, or a zombie as they've been classified as. I kind of see him as a failed experiment for a professional, like a super soldier, but people see them as zombies. There's a scene where just overall sound design, like you can close your eyes and just like listen, and it just sounds so terrifying. And I feel like that was a big part of the movie and where the horror came from. Now, let's talk about these zombies and like, or the lack thereof. Like you're only going to see around three really, but like 2 real ones that you actually see. And I feel like the way they showed this movie as like being this zombie-ish Call of Duty World War II zombie mission it kind of doesn't, it's not really that. In reality, this movie is a World War II story with supernatural zombie stuff in it. And if you're going in there for that, you're going to have a good time. But if you're going in there for a zombie movie with war stuff in it, you're not going to enjoy it. Overall, I think this movie was very well made. The casting did very well. They kind of played with your emotions a bit, where you didn't know if you were going in for a zombie movie or a war movie. I feel like if they were upfront with you about it, which I don't know, they could be with marketing, but I feel like with somebody as clever as J.J. Abrams producing it, I feel like they could have done it a bit better. Overall, I give the movie 3 out of 5 reels. Now, that's it for me this time. If you like what we do here, hit that like button. And while you're here, hit that subscribe button and check out our other videos. Stay tuned as we roll into the holidays and we continue to put out some content for you, the great person that you are. We'll see you later, Internet.